So I'm here with Rashaan Peak, a Black author who recently released her inspirational ABC book of affirmative words for children. How are you doing today, Rashaan Peak?
I'm doing great. Happy Sunday.
Oh, thank you so much. You're an entrepreneur, author, and motivational speaker. Can you tell me a little bit about how you got into that unique career path?
Well, I was raised by an entrepreneur before the word was even coined. Never saw her go to a 9 to 5. So inspired by her drive and motivation. So I've been working for her since I was old enough to work, like 8. Doing anything from filing to envelope stuffing, inventory when she owned a store. So just followed in the family path, but also am a nonprofit executive, so have spent my 9 to 5 career with nonprofit organizations, one in Atlanta and in Charlotte.
Wow, that's really interesting. Nonprofits, that seems like, really interesting work. You know, um, how did you decide like you wanted to write a children's book?
I I love other people's kids. So I have 2 of my own and 5 total. We have a blended family, and just watching them grow and seeing them with their friends and always trying to be the inspirational parent, like saying things that are positive. It's all about mindset, and we don't really get a chance to instill that in our children early. So I wanted to do something where it was like correlated with learning. So having now like young kids in our lives, my children have like got children that are 4 and 3, and I have a nephew that is 4, and just wanting them to have the opportunity to be inspired, see their names. And so incorporating their names into the books and creating a mindset of positivity.
I love that, and, I'm a big, proponent of, speaking positively. I love, a lot of metaphysical books, I'm a big fan of, metaphysical writers like Neville Goddard or, you know,
hmm
Scoville Shin. Are you a fan of, metaphysical work as well?
I am. I've heard several of Neville Goddard's works. I Rodriguez does like Joseph Rodriguez does a whole series on YouTube that highlights some of his work, so I get to hear through them. I also have Earl, can't remember his last name, but whoever is like about mindset, believe in what you can see and thinking about it for achievement has been really helpful for me because you could get caught up in like the current news and get trapped in the mindset that everything is going bad, but always knowing that it'll work out and it's always for the best.
Yeah, it's so positive, and, I love, I think, it's so important for, to teach kids at an early age to talk positively so they can have, healthy self-esteem. Was there, a significant, event that occurred that made you realize that there was a need for this book or, something that,
I can't pinpoint it. It was always, it's spiritual. So I'm putting out like what should I be doing to make a difference? And I think what triggered it was our reading scores in our city were really low, and understanding that if kids don't have books that have images that look like them early, it's not going to be impactful for them to want to read because it's like, okay, it's the same books. So wanting to do something, I actually finished the copy of the book on the day that Kobe Bryant was killed. And so that was a motivation for me to be like, okay, finish this because you never know what happens and how it proceeded after that. It still took a while for me to get over some self-esteem issues of myself because I was like, people aren't going to want to read it, or um, is it worth it? And then trying to get the illustrations right. So I did the illustrations with AI and felt like it came out pretty good. But giving it out for free first and letting people personalize it for a cost was the best way. But ideally, I would want it. And when every baby leaves the hospital, that they had access to the book. So that would be my dream. So the motivation was just following the spirit of being told what to do and led into writing it, and listening.
That's beautiful. I think like, the way you were brought to the book, is that common practice now for like, children's book authors to use AI to like, kind of like, do a mock-up of the illustrations? Or
I don't know, I encourage it though, it's like, "Okay, you put in the keywords and let it do the work." I would, wanna partner with an amazing, graphic designer or artist, but at the time, it wasn't financially viable, so as I continue this journey, hopefully, I have some thoughts about more children's books. One is a series called The Adventures of Lou, so I have not written a word, but I do have a title, and I know that she goes to Paris, she travels, she does things so that, little brown boys and girls can see a little brown girl doing some things that they might want to do in the future.
definitely. Was there any like books when you were growing up that sparked your love for reading?
Oh, I it yes, all of the golden books, so the Disneys. I loved reading those. I started reading Harlequin romance novels at 8, which I wouldn't recommend for a child, but I was an only child. So whatever was around, I would read it. And also the Reader's Digest. Interesting. So travel books and the encyclopedia were my way of being with friends and meeting new people and learning some things. Um and the adventures of the Harlequin romance novels gave me some thoughts into being a pirate or being stuck on a desert island. So I just love to read growing up because that was my world because I didn't have anybody to play with or talk to.
Definitely. You talk about like the importance of like, representation. Were there any books like, that you saw like yourself in, or like what was the first book you read where you felt like you were represented by the character?
I probably in late elementary school, I read the book called "The Girl with the Silver Eyes," and she had like telepathic powers, and so not like that she looked like me, but she was different, and I was often the only black girl or person in a classroom, so having that rarity of seeing her um, align with what I felt.
That's amazing. Like, what would be your advice to people who are like, thinking about writing a children's book?
Just do it. Just don't think about if it'll sell or if it'll be popular. Just, put your heart into it, write what you feel, and the rest will fall into place.
Definitely. Is there anything else like, in addition to, getting more authors to write characters that represent people of color that could increase the literacy rates that you could think of?
Um, just being out there, comics. I'm really encourage people to create comic books because that does the color and the vibrancy of the artwork is important. So collaborating with someone that can do some vibrant art and you have some words and we put some things together that we have for our community kids to see themselves and feel empowered and win in the end of the book.
Definitely. Rashaan Peak, how can people reach out to you, contact you on social media?
Social media is Rashaan Peak on all channels, RASHAANPEEK. So I'm on Instagram, Threads, LinkedIn, and Facebook.
Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Hey, it's Ryan Glover. Thanks for checking out my recent interview with children's book author Rashaan Peak. Make sure you follow her on social media. Also follow me on Ryan Glover 187 on Instagram, Ryan Glover 1982 on Twitter, Ryan Glover 18 on TikTok. Also, like, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, like, comment, and share so we continue to bring these great interviews. If you got anybody like, that you like me to interview, comment and let me know what you think in the comments, honestly, because I answer and respond in the comments. It's a community, so like I want you guys to tell me what you think of the Rashaan Peak interview, how I can make the channel better. I appreciate you guys.